Hi sickos, welcome back to a brand new episode of Too Extreme for Mainstream. I'm your host Sensory Stowers, and today's episode revolves around a movie that I saw quite a few years ago. Now, I'm talking 17 years ago, a movie which is very extreme indeed, so much so this movie was banned after its release in Germany on Mew's request. Please forgive me if I've butchered that name, but I'm going to get into that. Now, Muse, I think that's how he says his last name, in case you didn't know, is Armin Muse. And he's a German cannibal who in 2001 killed and ate a voluntary victim. He was classed as the Rottenburg Cannibal. There's a little bit of history fact there for you. So this film, Cannibal, directed by Marian Dora in 2006, is based on a true story. Now, the movie Cannibal, directed by Marian Dora, was later released on DVD in the United States by Anthem Pictures on December the 19th, 2006. The film also released under Unna Films, but is now out of print. So now, Cannibal. Cannibal. The talk you are here for. And in case you haven't seen this film or don't know anything about this film, it's about a lead character called the Man, and the willing victim is the flesh. Now, this movie Cannibal has a very interesting look going on, meaning the quality of this movie, the only word I can personally describe it as is grungy. It's dark at times, but you can still see what's happening. So we have the man who's the cannibal, as I'm assuming is a young child to start with, and what looks to be his mother reading a book about Hansel and Gretel. Then we move to present day as the man, and we see him as an adult, and he's going on the prowl for a willing victim. Now he meets various males, as he is gay. Some of them refuse and others, don't fit his menu, if I will. After more conversations online, he talks to a willing victim called the Flesh. They meet in person and the games begin. Now, the Flesh does have one request though. He doesn't want to suffer. What happens next, I wonder? Well, all I'm going to say here is the man tries to go ahead, but he can't, and the Flesh is returned back to the train station. Well, it doesn't end there, my friends. The Flesh really wants to be devoured, shall we say. So the Flesh tells the man he wants him to be strong, and so they return to the man's home. This time, the games really do begin, and I mean they begin, let me tell you right now. Medication was taken, alcohol was drank, knives were chosen, and the man proceeds with his cannibal fantasy. Now, after the fantasy happens, the man goes around and does some cooking, shall I say, and looks after the Flesh, but something happens to the Flesh. If you want to know exactly what went on, please try and find it, purchase it and watch it if you can. There is one place you can purchase Cannibal, and that's on eBay, but you're looking at £158, and that's being shipped from the United States, but good luck trying to find it. Now, if I'm going to be honest, as an overall opinion on this film, there is times where I'm kind of bored, let's be honest. But when the acts start happening, it does get very interesting. And if I do say so, unless somebody releases a tape, leaks a tape or whatever, I honestly do believe that this is the closest you're going to get to seeing an actual cannibal living out of his fantasy of devouring his victim. Now, there is ups and downs to this film, I will say. Like I said, I was bored a little bit in the beginning, but that was due to nothing really happening. Because you know me, if you know me well enough and you followed my journey through extreme horror, you will know that I like something to happen straight away. So I'm very impatient when it comes to things like this. And there is light parts to this movie, there's dark parts to this movie. The dark parts, however, don't go too dark where you can't really see what's going on. You can still see what is actually happening. And to be honest with you, the music in this movie kind of drains in with the whole film, the vibe of it. But when it comes down to the actual blood and guts, as people would say, There is a little bit of bodily things going on, shall I say, and there is quite a bit of blood. So if you love blood, you might be into this film. But it is based on a true story, and you know, the real life cannibal Muse, he obviously did this to a willing person, and I don't know what happened on that side of things, but you know, like I said, it's based on a true story. It's definitely worth a watch if you can find it, of course. I've got it on DVD. I've had it on DVD now for years, and I wouldn't really rush again to go back and watch it, but again, everybody's different. Everybody has a different tolerance when it comes to extreme films like this. It is pretty graphic, but that's all I can really say on the film. But now for the director, the man himself. God, this man goes by 9 different names, and I'm assuming that's because he's not just Marian Dora, as we know, as the director of Cannibal, but he's also a cinematographer, actor, a screenwriter, a good one at that, an editor, producer, composer, assistant director, makeup artist, special effects, sound, camera, electricity technician, set decorator, and designer, and physician. Wow, just wow. I mean, does this guy have any time off at all? You know, like, does he have any time off? Does he know what time off is? Does he know what a holiday is? Anyway, now, if you have Netflix, you may want to check out Melancholy de Engel. Marian Dora also directed that film. There isn't much to report on the guy other than he's a vegetarian and he works as a physician for a living. But Marian Dora has, however, done 9 other movies, which includes Cannibal and Melancholy de Engel, which we've just spoken about, as well as 28 short films. So, if you have seen Cannibal and or Melancholy de Engel, I'd love to know your thoughts on those. If you haven't, find them, purchase them, watch them, and hit me up where you bought them so I can let every other sicko that's listening to this know where to get it if they might be interested. So we have come to the end of this podcast. It didn't really seem like I said very much, to be honest, but it's a sort of film that I can't say too much because I'll give quite a bit away. It's obviously in the title of the name, Cannibal, and it's based on a true story. So if you want to get a bit more of an idea, then like I said, go and try and buy it, or even watch anything to do with the actual cannibal himself, Muse. You can find it on Wikipedia. If you haven't listened to my previous podcast talking about Love Dump and my interview with Coda, the lead actress, then please go and listen to that. For those that might be interested, I have previously spoken about Caligula, Necromantic, XXX Dark Web, Audition, and I've also interviewed Miss Socks, actress from I Cut Your Flesh, directed by Sam Hell, and not forgetting my interview with Scott Philip Jurgens, the director of 29 Needles, another favourite film of mine. I do have a very special announcement to give, and in my next podcast, which is tomorrow, I will be re-interviewing Miss Socks, but it isn't movie related, it's BDSM alternative lifestyle related. So if you are involved with your king side or you're wanting to explore that, then that podcast is definitely for you. I do have another interview coming up as well, and that is with the man himself, Sam Hell. So if you're looking forward to that podcast and the interview, then please give my podcast on Spotify a like or a follow, or any of my social media, which I'll announce in just a moment. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. Don't forget to follow my podcast on Spotify, like I've just mentioned, so you don't miss on any episodes in the future. And you can also follow me on my platforms, which is Instagram at Sensory Stowers, Twitter at Extreme Podcast, Facebook Kirsty Ann, and FetLife is Sensory Stowers. But until next time, see ya, sickos.